So guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you are. Guys, Ryan Garcia needs to be more dedicated, according to Mr. Saul Canelo Alvarez. Um, I want to talk a little bit about Ryan Garcia. Canelo's come out and said that, in my eyes, Ryan Garcia's got a lot of talent, but he says he feels he's wasting a lot of time, and he's wasting some of his talent. He goes that we always have to remind him to always come to the gym and train, and he's learning day by day. But when I was young, I was fighting 5 times a year, and in Ryan's case, he's not. He's very inactive. He's recently got injured, which obviously is not his fault. He's got injured, but Canelo's spot on. He's spot on. He goes, I think he needs to be a little bit more dedicated. That was his ending words. And I have to agree. And Ryan Garcia is a social media sensation. So here's the thing. The reason why a lot of fighters early on have to graft, because they're nowhere. Canelo had to graft because he didn't have the following that Ryan Garcia had. He probably wasn't even making anywhere near the amount of money that Ryan Garcia was making early on in his career. He didn't have the fame, the star power at that point in his career. So Canelo had to grind and work hard to get to where he got to. And that became embroiled into his bones, embroiled into him. Hard work in terms of boxing just became natural. Now it's just like, that's just what Canelo does. That's, like he says, no boxing, no life. That's basically Canelo's life. The thing is with Ryan Garcia, he's become a superstar before even he's got anywhere in boxing, in terms of he's not even become a world champion yet. But he's already reached a high fame on social media. So he's become a social media sensation where he's got so many followers and he can make so much money through, advertising, all of that stuff. Ryan Garcia can, he can go to it. He basically is already a multi-millionaire. And he's basically starting off his career. So when you reach that kind of fame, that kind of level, before even, right at the start of your career, you're already seeing that. Like, Canelo had to grind to get to that. And I'm not saying Garcia had to grind to get there, because even what he did on social media, that's big. You got to respect that, because Ryan Garcia did that. Ryan Garcia made himself a star on social media. But surely it takes a little way your hunger away from boxing, because boxing is a very tough sport. Why do you have to get up early o'clock in the morning when you're already a multi-millionaire? You see, as Marvin Hagler said, it's very hard to get up for your early morning runs when you're in silk sheets or silk pajamas. And Ryan Garcia is already rich. I'm not saying he's made it or whatever, but he's a social media, like, the amount of followers he's got, he's laughing. The endorsements and all of that come with it. And then, so the motivation for him, for Garcia, isn't as much as someone like it was for Canelo, because Canelo wasn't a star. He became a star through boxing. Ryan Garcia is already a star without even becoming world champion. He's become famous and wealthy through other things. Also, boxing has helped him, of course. But that probably takes away your hunger. Now, we don't know the situation with Garcia. He's been through a lot. And I like Garcia. I think he's a very exciting fighter, vulnerable fighter, but very exciting fighter. And he's got attributes. He has got talent. Canelo's right. But in order to make it big in boxing, you'd have to be dedicated. You have to be dedicated like Canelo. Otherwise, if you've got talent, you may become a world champion with the amount of belts there are, but you won't stay there for that long, and you won't go on to achieve what someone like Canelo did, or you won't achieve what some of the greats achieved, because you ain't putting the effort in that those guys. You're not putting in the work, the dedicate. You're not dedicated. You're not like they were. Like, Canelo's dedicated. That's why he's going to go on to become a great, because he's dedicated to his craft. As I said, no boxing, no life. And I feel like you've got to have that mentality in sport. If you want to succeed as a sportsman, you have to have that mentality. You've literally, I feel like to make it in as an elite level sportsman, I just think you've got to have that kind of mentality. You've basically got to just sacrifice, a lot of your life to get there. That's what a lot of sportsmen that get to these elite levels, they sacrifice their whole life. Like Ryan Garcia is in a great position. He's in a great position. But like I said, he's already for me, he's already, I won't say a superstar in boxing, but he's a superstar on social media, and he's rich. Garcia, he's rich. He's got everything at a very young age, and he's worked for it. He's got himself in that position. Nobody else. He's got himself in that position. But at the same time, when you've got that kind of money and you've got all that Ryan Garcia's got, I don't know whether the hunger would still be there. you know. So, and when was the last time Ryan Garcia fought? I think the last fight we fought was against Luke Campbell. That was ages ago. When was that? Was that last year? I can't even remember. It was that long ago. However long it was ago, it was long. For Ryan Garcia, as Canelo said, should be fighting 5 times a year. Now, obviously, he's had some issues. He's also had, an injury. So it's not his fault. But at the end of the day, he's young. And Canelo's right in terms of wasting time, because these are very important years to build a foundation for him then to be a champion for a very, very long time. And he's, like I said, he's got to be dedicated. He's got to be dedicated. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult for him. I like Ryan Garcia. I think he's exciting. I think he's a great watch. I think he's a very good fighter. He's definitely got ability. And let's not forget, he's got Andy Ruiz. He's got Oscar Valdez. He's got a former champion in Ruiz, Oscar Valdez, and he's got the best pound for pound fighter in Canelo Alvarez. And there's another one in that. I think there's someone else in the gym as well. So the amount of people he can learn off. Like, imagine you seeing Canelo train. And Canelo spends a lot of, I see Canelo, going up to Ryan Garcia, teaching him stuff. Canelo's willing to give someone like that time. So if you really want to dedicate yourself, if you really want to work hard and make it, you're in the right surroundings. He's basically with the best fighter in the world in his gym. There's no better way to learn. Literally, you've just got the best environment. And then you've got a trainer like Reynoso, who's unbelievable as well. So Ryan Garcia's got everything that he needs to become successful in boxing. And to be honest, he's got talent. He's got fast hands. Not the best feet, but he's got fast hands. He has got natural ability. He has definitely got some ability there. But there are weaknesses as well, as we saw in the Campbell fight. And that's what Canelo Alvarez means, that he needs to dedicate himself. So those little weaknesses that he's got, he can iron them out. He can get better, because Ryan Garcia is still learning. He's still young. He's still learning the game. But like I said, he's in the best environment to get to improve and get better. He's definitely, in my opinion, he's in the right place, because like I said, Canelo Alvarez, who's a better fighter than Canelo Alvarez right now that you can learn off. Like, Anthony Joshua's literally going and watching Canelo Alvarez train, and Anthony Joshua was the unified heavyweight champion. And he's going over to Canelo and seeing what Canelo does and how he trains, because and he's an ex-unified champion. So the same thing with Ryan, right? He could learn a lot from Canelo, a lot, But yeah, like I said, I do think that nowadays the fighters, because of social media, certain fighters have got such a big following and become stars, that they become rich very quick. And then the hunger in boxing may not be there, because Ryan Garcia probably thinks he can make a lot of money out of boxing. So I don't know. It comes down to how much you love boxing, how much you love the sport. and just how self-motivated you are, how much you want to be great, how much you want to, you know, excel in your profession. This just comes down to that. And hopefully Garcia does dedicate himself, and and does put in that work, because I definitely think he's got talent. I think he's got raw talent. I think he can definitely make it big, and most importantly, he's a very exciting fighter. He's very exciting to watch. He's definitely interesting to watch. He's a very, very good watch, Ryan Garcia. So he's definitely going to excite the fans. But what do you guys make of what Canelo Alvarez said? Leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think. And guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.